Well, my name is Dr. Sharif Haider. I'm a program leader for health and social care school at the Open University in the UK. And you want to know about my research and whatever I presented in the conference. Well, the paper I presented was about virtual reality simulation for practitioners, for health and social care practitioner in the UK. So it's about how we can train health and social care practitioners without bringing them in a classroom settings. Um, so virtual reality simulation is a mechanism whereby they can use the virtual reality headset to have immersive learning experience without um, without attending any training courses, face-to-face, in-person, classroom-based training session, and also um, mm, they can learn things without even going to the practice. As you probably know, health and social care practitioner, they're pretty much focused on practice-based learning. They need to spend their time in the hospitals or in local authority settings. Um, and sometimes as a newly qualified workers or even as a students, it's sometimes difficult to have early experience about practice. And this simulation, virtual reality simulation, will enable students as well as practitioners to have that learning experience, immersive learning experience. Basically, they will learn by doing things in the simulation. So that's what I presented, and our evaluation from that virtual reality simulation is absolutely brilliant, very, very positive. Um, um, and currently, as far I know, I'm the only person who is actually developing simulation, virtual reality simulation for social care practitioners, social workers, and healthcare practitioner in the United Kingdom. So that's why I presented in the at your conference. With any like any researcher, my research doesn't stop because of a global pandemic. It will continue, isn't it? Um, I mean, I found my way to carry out my research. Virtual reality simulation is one of the research area that I focus on, but there are other research area or the research I'm currently doing. And in the pandemic time, I continued. I continued. For example, we weren't able to travel due to the restriction and all sorts of problems. But still, I continue to work even internationally. For example, um, I I worked with academics from uh, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Thailand in a project about Rohingya refugee, their mental health needs at COVID time. I didn't go there because my colleagues were there who helped me to gather data. We managed to do online interviews, questionnaires online. So it was possible. So even it was a pandemic, lots of restriction, lots of risk, but we managed, and I managed. So with that example, what I try to say is that as a researcher, we will always find a way to continue with our research because that's our role. As a researcher, we want to make a change, you know. We want to transform people's life, transform society. That's the main motivation. Um, I think as a researcher, especially me, I want to change the way we do things to make it better for future. So regardless whether it's a pandemic or not, we will or I will continue to do work, and we always find a way because as a researcher, we are also a problem solver. So we will find a way. If there is a will, there is a way. So we'll find a way, and that's what I've done with my research. Um, and because I'm after positive impact, I will continue with research, and especially it's not about doing research to improve your profile or write journal articles or write books. That's not the point. The point is actually whatever I'm finding, am I disseminating? Am I actually telling that to people so that we can change the society? So this actually like impact, dissemination, and the conferences are one way or one of the mechanisms that we use to disseminate our findings, because in those conferences people come from different discipline, even including my discipline, and they continue to ask critical questions to challenge me, challenge my ideas, challenge my thoughts, and that's actually important to improve understanding and move the discipline further. And that's where you make change. That's I think the conference was actually for me in your conference. I presented to go to a different sort of context where it wasn't within European context or Western context, somewhere be different, so that I can disseminate my findings and explore what's happening in other parts of the world. My opinion about online conference, um, rather than physical one, with the online conference, you can be anywhere. It doesn't matter. So the flexibility is there. So similar to one of my research project, which is virtual reality simulation, you need to be in the classroom. So you don't need to be in a conference hall or, somewhere in a hotel. You can be in your office or in your workplace or in your comfort of your own home, or even a cafe. I know I actually attended a conference because at the time was really difficult to manage. So I was in a coffee cafe to drinking coffee and presenting my thing. So it was absolutely a different experience. So with online conferences, you have this flexibility, um, and you're not missing out what is happening in the wide world. You are still in touch with things, and some people um, living quite a distance, and for them probably difficult to attend conferences um, because it's a physical location and a specific area. Lots of cost involved to travel nowadays. Managing time is another issue because all of us are very busy people. So online conferences give you the opportunity to have the flexibility in relation to physical proximity as well as the time, and of course the money. I think um, pandemic time it was needed because there's no other way around to it, because everything more or less shut down, so we weren't able to even uh, mix within our neighborhood. So yeah, that was I think the reason or my opinion to have online conferences rather than physical conferences. Um, I mean, you've got both pros and cons in relation to online or face-to-face physical present conferences. But I think For some who are really struggling in terms of time, in terms of traveling, all sorts of things, I think I will definitely recommend. And also the other thing we need to be mindful about, which is the sustainability, and online conferences are pretty much, um, I think, environmental friendly. Um, and the way the climate currently behaving, I do think we need to be very mindful about how we behave as a researcher, and therefore I would definitely recommend online conferences to people. But I also acknowledge and I also see that it is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it is sustainable in a longer term, whether it's a pandemic time or not, because we are going through a very difficult time. Um, um, climate climate change is probably one of the difficulties that we are challenges that we are encountering at this moment. So therefore, I think I would recommend to try people to attend online conferences. It was good to present to a different audience, and that's the reason I went to that conference. Um, um, and your conference provided me that platform to share my ideas and thoughts about the way we should travel in terms of providing training to doctors, to nurses, to social workers, to occupational therapists, and I wanted to disseminate um, that piece of research to a different group of people who probably not using or not thinking about this type of technology, which could revolutionize. I mean, that could actually change, transform. Just change the word there to transform actually the whole um, structure and the systems and the way they can train their doctors, their nurses, or their social workers is absolutely different. And in terms of sustainability, cost effectiveness, although the investment cost is high, but after the investment, um, they will get the benefit and good benefit, and that's what I wanted to do to share those ideas. And your conference basically provided me the opportunity and platform to share my ideas and my research. Thank you.